are a very useful tool for both businesses and individuals to use. Don't know if you ever reconcile your bank statement or check if you use a physical check register or an electronic version, or you check say your online bank statement login. It's really important to compare that to what you have as a record of your transactions. And that's what a bank reconciliation is for a business. They look at what the bank has as a record and they compare it to their records and see where there might be any differences or items that the bank has that they don't have, or items they have that the bank doesn't have recorded. And we try to reconcile why we have two different amounts. Because I guarantee if you have an account with a bank that is active at least, the amount they gave you for, say, an ending balance last month is not the amount that you have in your accounting records, because there are reasons we have differences. Okay, give you a couple of reasons. Let's say that you get your bank statement and you look at your accounting records and you're comparing some things, and you notice on your deposits, you made some deposits and they've got several of them recorded, but you made one near the very end of the month, maybe the last day of the month, and you don't see it on the bank statement. Maybe you made it in the night deposit on the last day of the month. They didn't get it or post it till the next day or two. So it's not going to show up on this statement for their records. It'll show up on the next one, but it's already in yours. So that's a reconciling item, something that's going to be different between the two. Or let's say that you had written several checks throughout the month, and some of those you see on the bank statement as well, but some of them aren't there. You have some that didn't clear the bank. Maybe the person you gave it to didn't cash it or deposit it in their bank yet. Maybe one got lost. Or maybe you just made some late and they haven't gotten to the people that you're paying yet. Again, there are a lot of reasons, valid or invalid. What if the bank made a mistake and took too much money for a check, or didn't put enough in on your deposit, or there was an error in some way, shape, or form? So there are a lot of reasons why they can be different. And also, the bank may have things you don't know about that you need to record. Things like, well, bank service charge. Sometimes a bank charges for using their services. There are different types of accounts. You wouldn't necessarily know that unless it's a flat fee every time until the bank statement came. Then you would record it. Okay, so again, there's a lot of discrepancies between the two records. What we want to do is reconcile them, make them so that we can get them to the same number. Then I know I have all of those items accounted for, even if they're not showing up on both places. But again, there's some things I will need to record. If the bank already has it recorded and I don't, I'm going to need to record that. If I have it already recorded, it doesn't mean we need to call the bank and tell them you need to record this. It means we need to look to make sure it gets recorded or is shown on, say, the next statement, the next bank statement. So let me walk you through a real life example of what you might see if you're really doing a bank rec. Again, you can do this yourself for your own bank statement if you have a bank account. Please don't be the person that goes and checks your balance online, or goes to the ATM and checks your balance and you say, hey, I got $500 in there. Well, maybe, maybe not. What if you just did several debit transactions and you wrote a check and none of that's cleared the bank yet? You don't really have $500 to spend. Could get into a sticky situation sometimes if that's the only check you have on how much money is available. So good for personal use too, bank reconciliation is. It's not very hard to do. So this is an example of a bank statement that we might see from the bank. It's got the company's information here. It's got our account number, the time period. So this is for May. It says, and these are all the bank's records. Okay, this is First Bank. This is their information. They're showing us this is what they have recorded for our account. So we've got the beginning balance, how many deposits and other additions, checks and other subtractions, and an ending balance. And then we have a list of checks that were put through our account. And then we also have other subtractions or debits. And then we have a list of deposits and other subtractions / credits. That should not say subtractions. That should say other additions. So that is a typo. Let's fix that. This should say additions. Okay, because remember, don't get confused, we're still early on debits and credits a little bit, but to a bank, your checking account is a liability. They owe you that money back. It's not theirs, it's not an asset. For you, that is an asset, your checking account. But the bank, it's a liability. So they call subtractions debits because how do we decrease liability accounts? We debit them. And how do we increase liability accounts? We credit them. That's why the card that you have is called a debit card, because it debits that liability on the bank's records each time. You wouldn't debit your cash account, that would increase it. Okay, so little change of terminology. But this is everything they have recorded. What I want to do with this information is compare it to my information. So let's go and look. Here's some of our information. May the 3rd, May the 5th, May the 30th. Okay, we've got 15,000, 18,000, 4,000. All right, let's just look at these deposits to start off with. What's on the bank statement? Do we see those? Let's go down to the deposit section. All right, let me go back. Well, I'm going to flip back and forth. 15,000. Do we see that $15,000 deposit? Yes, I see there. I'm just going to kind of highlight these as we go through so we know that we've found them. Yes, we did. Sorry. We did indeed find that $15,000. All right, the $1,800 deposit we made on the 5th. Well, it cleared on the 10th. But yes, it has been recorded on their records. And how about the $4,000 on the 30th? I don't see that one. No. Okay, so let's color that one in as red. I don't see it listed. All right, let's look at the checks. This is everything we have listed. 2565. Sometimes banks list these on theirs in check number order or the order in which they cleared or went through. But most of the time you'll see them in check number order. So 2565. Oh, there it is. 1750. Yes. All right, let's check that off. 2566 for $5,000. Oh, there it is. All right, let's check it off. $470. That was check number 2567. And there that is. We'll check it off. 2568, $530. Yep. Okay. 2569 for $2195.80. Yes, we have that as well. But that's all of the checks I show. So these I don't see listed. Oh, sorry. I don't see listed on the bank's information yet. So let's put those in red. Don't have those quite yet. Now, let's look back on the bank. There's a couple of other checks they have that we don't have. Well, there's one other place we need to look. What if these are things we had already recorded last month and now they've just cleared? Let's go look at our bank rec we did last time. Now, on the bank rec, you have two sections. The top section is the banks section. So you start with the number they have. So if they already have this number, this section is for items that would not be recorded already in their records. So these are things that we have recorded that they don't have recorded yet. The second section is our section, the company section. We start with the balance that we have as an ending balance. So all the things we know about are already in that total. So the items in this section are items that you find on the bank statement that the bank has recorded that we don't have recorded. Okay? So if we look back, last month there were 3 checks that had not cleared the bank yet that we had recorded. So let's see if those are some of those missing ones that are on the bank statement this time. 2562 for $35.96. Yep, there it is. So that's the one that was outstanding from last month. It has now cleared, so we can check that one off. Check number 2563 for $48.15. Yeah, that one's cleared. Check it off and check number 2564 for $17.0960. Yes, there it is. You want to make sure that anything on a prior bank rec gets cleared in the next month. Otherwise, you need to include it on your bank reconciliation this time because it's still outstanding. How about this deposit? That was something else we had recorded they did not. Let's see if that $2,200 went in. And it did. There it is. So, we've cleared that one. So everything in the bank section has now been cleared or recorded at the bank. Good. We don't need to worry about this because this was an amount we did not have recorded last time, and we would have recorded it after we did the bank reconciliation. So the part we need to be concerned with to double check the next month is this bank section to make sure it really got on the bank's records. and all of that has. So now we've made note of what has already been reported on the bank section and what hasn't. The red has not yet gotten there. So those are obviously going to be some reconciling items, reasons we have differences between our ending balance and the bank's ending balance. The other thing we need to do is look at the bank statement. Are there any items or dollar amounts on here that I have not cleared or checked off yet? You should see one. I only see one. This bank service charge. I keep doing that. Sorry. That. Oh no. Okay, try this again. There we go. That we have not yet recorded, but the bank has. So that's another reconciling item. That will be a reason we would have differences between the two. Okay? So at this point in time, we're ready to actually make up the bank reconciliation. We've done the footwork, we've figured out why we have differences, so now we need to figure out how to make up the actual reconciliation. Okay? So chew on that, and then come back and we'll do the reconciliation.